literally, as I was pressing go live, I just saw in the title there's a whole bunch of random extra letters after intuition. That was not intentional. That was just me not realizing I pressed some extra buttons. It's as simple as that, my lovers. Okay. I'm MJ. I'm the founder of Ultra Love. I host this Ultra Love TV YouTube channel, sharing the spiritual awakening journey with all your lovers, manifestation, law of attraction, spiritual work, emotional healing, which is really healing on all levels, usually with awareness. Anywho, holla, Brenda, you popped into my mind today, my lover. What was the thought stream? Oh yeah, the word dear heart. How peculiar! It's something my mother expression my mother would use in various ways. Oh dear heart. There you go. You know, that's MJ's random mind. Andy Pin, who else did I see there? Maxine, how are you? So I do feel, committed to doing the tarot with Oya. We're in this monumental paradigm shift energy, obviously, right? Pardon me while I get some coffee. So, the collective intuitions, the collective energy, we're approaching this full moon, right? Full moon Scorpio. So thank you, like Maswena. It's really digging into the deeps now, digging into the depth, and it's a collective shift ultimately, which so many of these random timelines. So there's this 26,000 year timeline, and none of this ultimately matters anyway. When we put it into a mental construct, we have to recognize that it's just that. It's just a mental construct. Our ability to choose more consciously from one moment to the next what we're constructing via the mind is ultimately our freedom, right? So, holla, Lorna in the house, Lorna in the house. So in any given moment, we have the potential to choose freedom, and this is the ongoing messaging for me, is our discernment to unplug completely from the mainstream media, not listening to other people's agendas. And this is the continuous thing of being present in our own heart space, and conscious in our own minds. In any given moment, it's quite easy to kind of join other people's thinking, especially if you're an empath. Join other people's feeling space. It just happens that instantaneously because this is a unity creative space, and yet the profundity and the mind-blowingness of the fact that we are authentic, unique, individualized creators, it's it really does blow out the mind. Isn't it interesting, my lovers? Okay, so there's been two lovely troll energies here already this morning, and I felt that, heightened, but that makes perfect sense with the Scorpio energy, right? And as far as excavating our deepest depths, and this will be the final pass, as it were. I mean, this whole year. No longer do I have any desire to talk about finalities or this is when it's gonna happen, and then we will be at the turning point and have freedom. I sort of feel that we come into this space of just this gentle ease and inner peace, and yet there's the fundamental understanding that that's what we're practicing regardless of our circumstances. To practice having the self-love, to practice having the mental awareness, to practice, hola Eddie, how are you? Right, so imagine the, see, it's like holla holla, um, which obviously from over here, right, it makes it more, I know this is bizarre, but it obviously makes it more challenging, and potentially like the feels that I might be carrying from any given day, that kind of energy could set me right off, or set me right off. Um so I think we've got a few of these planets, like I think Venus is going retrograde. I uh I divine sight, oh my goodness, hola my lover. Divine sight is helpful moderation. So we've had, what, it's been 6 minutes, and I've already had about 4 or 5 different like um breath. Oh, do you know what I'm getting? Flash. Ah, I don't know why Flash Gordon comes into my mind. Is it Flash Gordon? Um, yeah, there's already been quite a lot of. Although here I come to save the day. It's true. It's very true. Although I thought, I'm like, anywho, I am endeavoring to intuit the shares. Hey Jennifer, around the Scorpio full moon. So really, we're in the energy right now. Thanks. Yes, Brenda. Brenda, my lover. I felt you, and I have. Somebody. I was watching an astrologer update, or somebody's update recently. Was it Adrian? It's probably Adrian, because that's pretty much all I listen to. And right near the end, she's like, "Now then, let's touch each other. Let's." I'm like, "Hello." At the moment, I'm not living with anyone that I'm particularly um, on that level with. However, I touch myself. uh, so one, hey Dev, hello Dev, hey Dev Mahoney, tree hugger, my friend. Um, the tree hugger energy just came through. We've been talking around connecting to the earth energies, really committing into our deep meditation practice, our body work, which could be things like the yoga, tai chi, or just mindful walking, or any kind of mindful conscious exercise. Um, Certainly we have time to, if there's a garden space, work in the garden. That's kind of connecting to, not kind of, it just fully connecting to earth energies. Redecorating, clearing our spaces. So in like waveform, we've been forced to look at things. We've been forced to clear things up, clean things up, maybe create things, plant gardens, work things out in our interpersonal relationship, and at the same time make a pretty firm decision about what relationships are coming with us and which ones we're not too keen on, or what patterns or what energy patterns we're not too keen on repeating. And that is something that all of us are really having to have that rather profound exchange inside ourselves. Absolute time for reflection, which again is part of the majority of our spiritual practices have some element of self-study, introspection, retrospection. That's the whole point to me of our mind, and the intelligence that we have access to as a species has everything to do with our ability to reflect and discern energy exchanges, and then I'm somebody who propagates self-responsibility. So in my awareness and my understanding, it's like, unless you own the totality of your creative field, which means you have to own all the things that you feel and think, obviously, then one, yeah, maybe life becomes a little bit more intense, but at the same time you have more pulling power, you have more creative control, you have a sense of dominion over reality, i.e. space inside your mind to choose. Freedom piece is about being able to choose a perspective where you can see the global paradigm shift. Part of this enforced energy is also on the 3D level. It would appear to be taking people's sovereignty and freedoms away. You can't do that. You can't go out. You can't get close. You can't, right? And so what that triggers is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Who says and who did it? And yet, you know, the blinders, as it were, and something that I would discuss on this channel is the denial piece, the collective denial piece of the systems of our world, the operations, which is us, which is how we're operating, isn't working for the betterment of all, or anybody for that matter, at this stage. And so the shifting energy is really taking a good hard look at oneself and making a choice. Shall we continue to give our power away, or shall we own it, integrate it, and take responsibility? The reason people often don't take responsibility, dare I say, is because blaming and attacking on an emotional level is more comfortable, because we don't have to transform ourselves. We don't have to go to the depths of our own darkness. We don't have to face the ugliness of our own demons. We don't have to feel the discomfort of our own creation, which we are. We are that creation, and yet we want to say, oh no, my parents created me, or no, society created me. See this sweater, society put it on me. No, I chose it. Just like I choose consciously where to spend my money, I choose consciously what I like to put in my body based on how it feels. I choose consciously what I like to shop and dress based on how it feels, and based on the economic impact that any of my purchases can make. Searching for conspiracies of wabbits is true. It's a true tree hugger. Yep. And 100%. So there, and that, so that's a reflection for me around, like, that's the power of our choice, right? And yet people don't even necessarily realize they have a choice. They're just looking for the answers outside. They're looking for the next news story that's going to tell them the truth. Just like you chose to get sunburned for teaching, yes, divine side. Yes, divine side got sunburned. Although I'm stoked for you, because many of us olive-skinned people know that when you get a little toasty burn, it's like the best tan ever. Usually takes about 24 to 48 hours to set, but it is like a juicy tan. Yeah, and so I'm quite looking forward to having. I feel quite pasty, and after the first few days of being here when it was quite warm, but I was mega low vibrashe, so didn't want to do anything. Now I'm starting to get a little bit more sexalicious vibes, and wanting to go out, but it's bloody freezing. It's freezing and it's cold. Those are two of very same meaning words. What was I gonna say? Freezing, blustery, rainy. One year in 2015, I tanned slash burned myself. And it was one of those, like, May is a funny one in countries where I've lived, like Canada or the UK, where sometimes it can be blazing warm, summer approaches. Other times May is actually still kind of drizzly and cold, winter ending vibration. Oh my god, my vibration noise in my head is just like, shut up. So, so anyway, it wasn't quite warm enough, and now I'm really wanting to, like, sunbathe, but it's cold and rainy here. It's super kind of like, you know. So I'm living vicariously through some of you who are sharing your burned skin, but I rejoice in your burned skin, because yeah, Portugal, son. I was only in Portugal a few days of dog walking before my, like, but Portugal's like that as well. Portugal's not as hot as even like Morocco or something, right? Like, Portugal still has coolness in the winter time. So it's nice here in Cali. Maxine, you have perfect weather all year long, essentially. Although, I mean, that's totally questionable at this point, because California has some pretty severe, like, fire stuff and earthquakes, I believe. Like, there's, I mean, everywhere you go, right? There's always going to be the shadow. Okay, I do want to pull some cards to tune into the collective energies. It's all, always the same essence, isn't it? Our personal life is our personal responsibility. And so what does that mean? It means we take responsibility and we do the work. And to me, the work is a discipline ourselves to self-love, which means self-nurture, self-care, yoga vibes, yummy food, like just absolutely loving it all, right? And somehow it miraculously transforms us. And this is something this collective evolution has a lot to us bringing our quantum gifts online, and we can't do that without each other, you know. This sort of idolization or worship of extraordinary or weird or you know, those esoteric but out of the norm gifts, which have been in a very subtle or not so subtle way sort of fractioned out of society, or been like, that's just not real, so we just don't go there. We're having to shapeshift that. We're having to bring it online in more and more of a way, which really again is just us being ourselves and not putting up with you're weird or and it's not, it's not a reactive thing, it's an inner set point thing. So having the sense of like not tolerating bullshit, that's not me being triggered and like not owning my shit. That's me knowing self and knowing energy enough to trust self and say yes, no, no, yes. That's all. It's not pushing against, it's not like, oh my god, how dare they do that, like fuck them. There's no reaction. It's a conscious choosing. Hence, the more conscious we become, the more access we have to choice, and thus we can choose a higher timeline. Oh yeah, that was another message that came through around this choice point, and like the fact that we've got planets going retrograde, and the fact that people are having to really own up or face up or really be aware of what they're feeling and what they're really processing and how they really feel about themselves and about the world. And so there's this real owning up, right? In a retrograde season where it's likely that we'll be, and plus we're moving into Gemini, right? North Node Gemini. So it's like, this is the time now in these next couple of years to really get into our communities, to reach out, to express ourselves, to intend like we've always been intending, but to continuously like vibrationally really commit, vibrationally really believe in ourselves, right? Because it's slow moving, game changing energy. Slow moving, in the same regard on a physics level of like slow moving, like it's the darkest before the dawn, right? Slow moving like slow mo, like or when before we were ready, or when we're in an accident or something like that, and everything moves really slow motion. This is something to do with our awareness as a species through the trauma, through the collective purging of this trauma. At your disempowered, giving our power away for the illusion of control, that's been exposed as a fallacy, as a distortion of our own power and truth, right? So as that is manifesting, it's sort of sending a shockwave of this paradigm shift energy, which of course is allowing us to be choosier choosers. And again, what you choose to engage with on an information level is your choice. So if something you're watching or something you're listening to, or someone you're listening to for that matter, if it's not vibing with you, be willing to walk away. You don't have to tell anyone what to do. You don't have to like force anyone to think how you think. You just walk away and come back to yourself. I must say, it's like, yeah, I just, these last couple of days, and I do sense it's to do with the approaching full moon and the shifting nodal axis, but just coming in, oh god, you know. And I talk a lot about the empath wounding, around not making it about saving other people, not making it about other, and I can feel that wounding, like this sort of guiltiness, like this sort of feeling guilty about having the freedom, or feeling guilty, or feeling like you should really be doing that for that person, or you should really, and it's coming from this guilty place based on somebody else's pain body, right? So I'm like, that's not my responsibility. And there again, I'm using that rational mind ultimately to go, well, they've got this, and this, so there's support there, so that's not my responsibility. Stay focused on myself. Stay focused on receiving. Stay focused on being open. So I'm looking at 3 cards I've just pulled for the collective reading here, you guys. And FYI, if you dig it out of vibrashe, you can book a private reading or buy any of the Ulta Love merch products and services. You know. So you. Oh no, I'm not gonna go there. Okay, so there's a King of Pentacles and King of Wands reversed with Hermit card. Gosh, well, how is it amazing that these cards will really do reflect collective energies? Because that's disempowered energy, manipulative, creative. I'm hearing kind of creative. It's like that energy of ripping the rug out from somebody. Creative manipulate. Well, this is a lot to do with the media energy. I feel smoke and mirrors. Like, shh, believe what we tell you. Believe it. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Holla, holla, holla. And we are all hermited right now, precisely. And what are we essentially waking up from, breaking free from, or rising out of? Distortion of truth, corruption of power by these mofo lovers. Whether it's king or queen, it doesn't matter. It's the people in power who are not in their effing power. They're not conscious creators. They use their money and wealth to abuse people. They use their creative projection to fucking manipulate people's minds. We're coming to terms with this. As lovely as our TV programming has been over these last few decades, the intent behind TV programming and mass production was a psychological experiment, and it's worked a treat. And yet it's not the truth. We can pick and choose. We can choose something better. We can choose something different. However, that's part of the energy of being outside more, and I have to address this within my own patterning since this energy, and ultimately since since this last nodal transit shifted over, and my ability to like do stuff in the world and do the things that I want to do. And since the energies come in, like watching different shows, and as lovely as that is, that doesn't really do it for me. I haven't. No, we don't typically. That's part of why I think you guys naturally res with me, is I don't watch TV either. And you guys know this. Some of you guys know because you send me videos, and I don't typically. I might tune into a little bit, but I don't. It's just myself. It's not like it's a right or wrong or good or bad. I just over the years, I didn't enjoy it. I'm not interested in the news. I don't want to watch TV. TV programming and advertising is incredibly destructive and destructive. Yeah. And I was guided, just like so many other parts of my journey. It's because I was intuitively guided. Like, this isn't working for you. You have to, and coming back is as in like a review energy, because same. I would have stopped watching TV about 10 years ago. And then haven't had my own personal television in my living space, since then at least. So, and you don't even realize what's happening to your own consciousness as you stop engaging with those storylines and those story timelines. And there again, all those years ago, choosing my heart, choosing my own inner perspective, and having people like, Molly, you need to get real. You need to get with the real world. Like the fucking misery and the bass tone depression of that energy, even though that might, again, on the physical 3D, these are well adjusted, people getting by, where me scrambling or free falling through the world, oftentimes people be like, Molly, you need to get, and there's this like little deep sort of inner child, but also a little rebel in me being like, fuck you, actually, don't tell me what I need to get real with and not real with. Like, I I'm in my, you know, so, but there again, we play those parts. We play the savior, we play the victim, we play the, and ultimately, like my awareness legit is like, we need to become aware of those programs, those archetypes that we're acting out in order to come back to self. And if we're not aware of them, then ultimately there's a sort of subtle egoic deflection game going on within self. Oh no, not me, right? And so that's part of the shadow aspect that I'm witnessing, is that, so if we have a hero or savior complex, ultimately that is protecting it. That kind of illusion protects us against our own victimhood, because we're the savior whenever we don't manage to save someone, or if things don't work out how we thought as the savior, then ultimately we play the victim. Oh, so and so didn't want my help, or blah blah blah. And these are subtle energies, really really subtle energies. It's like the difference between sitting and wallowing in our own emotion like we're fucking victims of circumstance, or feeling our emotions fully to process them, to be clear about them, so that we get better as a species to not project our unconscious fucking bullshit onto each other, which is a little bit like where we've been at and what we're still working through. Hala, right? Process our emotions. And a lot of us would have this direct experience of in ourselves or observing in other that we don't do that. You need to, like, we're all entangled. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Holla, Lauren. Yeah, I've seen you, babe. I've seen you. I see you, baby. Shaking that ass. Well, that's the process in the book. The process in the book is like, don't pity or wallow, but we do as a collective species. We have to learn how to process our emotions, because and that's, dare I say, that's part of the collective messes that we're in. It's our denial of that piece specifically, not our mind. I think therefore I am, that's been present, not our bodies, because our physical body we've been scientifically studying and I want to say, like, um, medicating our physical bodies. We speak, and now here's the gap. We talk openly about spirituality, and yet spirituality in essence is a taboo unless it looks like religion, right? So we wear the same robes, you go to church every day, or you sit and meditate every day, and you do your spiritual practice, but we don't really talk about that. And that's a little bit like off on the fringes of our culture, even though church and state used to be the fucking dominant control system, right? So we're starting to unravel these historical collective evolutionary pieces. And as we do that, what's missing in the world that we're seeing and experiencing? Emotional fucking intelligence. That's always the elephant. That's what people don't want to talk about. And yet really the essence of our spiritual teachings are telling us this. You know, Eckhart Tolle, as a modern spiritual teacher, talks about the pain body. The pain body is what it is. It's the emotional beingness that you are, which is your body, because where do you feel emotions? In your fucking body. So feeling your emotions is your ability to become more conscious, to become more present, to become more aware. But, like, look at the state of the world. If we are that what we see, do you think right now we're going to be feeling comfortable, happy, joyful, rainbow color emotions? Probably not. We're living in a time where it would appear that the whole world is shutting down and forcing us into some fucking mechanized worldview, which any of us that have any sense of connection to the heart space are just, no, that's intolerable and not going to happen. So wait, what is going to happen? Well, we have to choose. We have to choose our own highest vision and commit to it fucking fiercely, because most of us also recognize how easily it is to infiltrate one's mind. God, as an empath, somebody around you just has to say one or two things and you can be right there with them, vibrating in those lower dimensions, because you're an empath, because your energy field is wired, hard fucking wired, to feel and sense where other people feel and sense. That's part of what this community is about. Most of us are empaths and have been since we're little. I don't even know how to distinguish that other than the fact that at this point, as I put myself out there and I learn more, I'm learning that it is radically different. Those of us who have been empaths our whole lives have a very different way of relating to ourselves and the world around us and the people around us. And at this point, with paradigm shift energies just fucking online fully, it's becoming more apparent why. And that most of us have been in deep emotional suffering most of our lives, and yet that suffering and that funny piece that most of us have had as well, where we're like outside of our bodies watching group consciousness or watching people interact, or even often watching ourselves. Why am I doing that? Why? So this reflective study, this empathic understanding is an energetic understanding. So we're learning about energy. So now, at this point, even though we felt repressed, oppressed, denied by the majority of the collective, now that tide is turning. Now there's an essence of all of this inner work that we've done all along is valuable. Valuable teaching, valuable expression, valuable healing and understanding for people. We need to be able to hold space for each other. Just like many of us have had amazing healers and people holding space for ourselves, right? Mo flow lovers. You guys, what's this about the denial? Denial. That's the river in Egypt. And Egypt has been coming up. So the hermit mode in the spread, you guys, is really just us breaking free from the abuse patterns and the abuse and control. It's nice to be it's nice to be in this space as well. Whoa. Ooh, interesting. Okay, I'm pulling some more cards for this morning. Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles, and Temperance, and they're all in the upright. This could be also like a bit of the energy with what I said about the Scorpio full moon and messengers coming in, people from our past. Feels really forthcoming, this energy, this page energy. I feel like they've been endeavoring to work on themselves. There's this sense of wanting to impress. You're coming in as the Temperance over here, so there's this well, and you know, I would have to say like manifestation as well. Finally the messages are coming in. Somebody, this Page of Pentacles for me feels really, really like earnest, I want to say. They were really keen. That's the energy I'm getting. So for some of you, you're coming through. So those of you who are really balancing your energies and looking after yourself and doing all that beautiful work and possibly taking sacred time outside in your garden, feet in the water, connected to your higher self, connected to your angels, connected to your own vision, then you're shining and radiant here. And this Page of Pentacles, possibly a younger earth sign, is coming in real keen. They give you a message. They bring a message of passion, ultimately. This is, I'm hearing somebody from your past, somebody that you know already. Okay. I feel like doing one more spread for you guys. Always appreciate you guys being here with me. Yesterday, when I was doing my evening practice, I felt quite inspired to come on live again. And so part of me felt like I'll continue to let myself be quite on flow and intuitive, and yet for consistency for you guys, and just doing my tarots in my morning hours. But I'm definitely focused on some next level manifestations now. So yeah, I want to pull another few cards. Divine guidance and loving clarity is always my intention here. So what was my insight last night? The insight last night I wanted to share, again, they'll come through these shares typically as well, but it was something along the lines of like your reality. And that's the kind of funny piece about when we're consumed with seeking information or seeking knowledge, or it's, to me anyway at this point, I'm like, everything you need essentially, even when it comes to knowledge and information, is directly in front of your face. Everything you need for your own self-inquiry and self-learning is all around you, because you create your own reality. So why, why, oh, can you help me? Well, why don't you look at yourself? Although, let's be honest, I also have that wounding of, we all need each other. We need one another. So I'm somebody who ran away from people and situations, all for, like, again, my own, there's no right or wrong, good or bad. I don't think. It's just, it comes down to our own personal sovereignty, right? And integration and soul's learning. And it's only through that fucking deep emotional resilience and inner grit, when we keep going, eventually we get to another side and we go, okay, I get it. And this is sort of the energies that we've been in for a little while now, especially in review of the last few years and possibly really the entire your life cycles on planet Earth, and why they're all coming up for this sort of expansive review, but then also laying down, is that we really are walking into these new earth energies, which are fun, bliss, healed, love, play, divine, absolutely divine. But you would say on a certain level mentally, we weren't prepared for this, of course. Hence where we're talking about it, because it's something we've held in the purity of our heart, which for possibly decades we disconnected from, we denied it, we shut it down. And so slowly but surely we're going, wait a minute, actually, no, you can't take that from me. That's mine. That's my divine inheritance. That's my my birthright, to be that expression of love and beauty and higher consciousness for myself and the whole, because I am one with all. So why would I listen to some external rule that feels disconnected, that feels corrupted? It's sick. It needs our love, and or we need to focus on being well, you know. Hey Ronald, how are you? Nice to see you. What did I say? I said I want to pull 3 more cards for collective energies here. Stepping into the love for sure. Oh, dang, 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 dang. Okay, so another aspect of the reading is 4 of Pentacle. Ooh, baby. Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. Ooh, heaven is a... I love you guys. I love myself. Okay, so we have a strength card up, surrounded by a pentacle. 4 of Pentacle. OMG. I swear to God, sometimes this is so funny how the cards come through. So this is simply what I feel is, do you know what, for some of you, do you know what's made you feel a bit lighter? Maybe some flirt. You've got this Knight of Wands. Now, they're not committable, this person. This Knight of Wands is total play of vibrashe, straight up legit, in and out, but they got some fire, they got some passion, and for reals, this is probably a very, very, just a passionate sexual experience. Holla! And it helps you feel, so it's almost like just on a mega empowered level, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter, but on a mega empowered level, it's like finally getting over some major losses or some major heartbreak wounding. And then it's like the strength card actually comes out of this exchange, this passionate, again, like a one night stand kind of vibration, or just a you're fine, let's get it up, let's get it home. So that's energy, and it's helping you feel more abundant, which is actually helping you get out of that feeling of being sticky icky, and or being stuck on some past union, and then you have this like Tinder hookup, whatever, and then it's like you're feeling strength again. It's like sexual healing, right? When I get that feeling, I got sexual healing, sexual healing. It's a thing, isn't it? I don't know if you guys ever had that, but like, thank you for the medicine. You're welcome. It was juicy. Jeez, are you digging on some of my like hillbilly tops? Look at this. Look at this next level. Oh, oh. It's for my festival seasons, Avi. I got the little short. I just need a little like bando lasso. Just a bando, a lasso. Do you guys, I really appreciate you guys here. Like, I'm in this moment having a, just a, like, no one cares except you're here. It's like they do, and you have love, and it's like just, but then this is the shiznazzles about the Scorpio. So it's like, fuck. And we can never prepare ourselves, essentially, because the energies just hit. But I'm suddenly aware of, like, okay, get ready. All of your shadow is coming up now. Like, all of the stuff, all of the deep wounds of unworthiness and shame, and, like, stop talking. You're just dim that effing light, would you please? You're fucking blinding us all. It's like all that energy is coming up. Hey, Chance, how are you? Do you love my fashion? Thank you, Maxine. I love my fashion. Even though, like, there's this weird part of me that sort of feels like I'm, it's like embarrassed to be superficial, except like I'm not superficial kind of thing. But right, boom, Scorpio feels. Um, but there's also, there's always a fucking polarity, which is like pow, for sure. Hi, Axe, how are you? It's like, there's a shame and fear of like the self-disgust manifest, but that manifests, right? And then, but there's also, so this is my own, this is like my own personal thing, is like, it's actually, there's actually fear and shame around showing up as our true self as well. Like, even though we think that's what we're chasing, when it actually starts manifesting, there's part of us that's like, yeah, like how, like, is it really, am I really allowed to feel this good about myself? Am I really allowed to feel this fucking beautiful and alive and sexy in my body? Am I really loud? And a part of me will hide it because it's like, it's a shame, weirdly. As in, there's a sense of not wanting to make other people feel bad, right? And only because that's been, oh, look, this is the stuff coming up for the Scorpio review. This is shining light on like the ways we would hold ourselves back to make other people feel better about themselves, right? And in any number of ways. And see, oh, cheers, threshold, timeline, threshold. There's this sort of like energy, so paradoxical, right? And so this is the kind of crux turning point of our energy bank of lessons going, what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose your light? Are you going to choose your freedom? Are you going to choose your own personal truth, knowing that there's no truth outside of you to claim or to learn? It's you. So it's like, are you going to claim that freedom of expression, or believing in the program of shame and guilt and greed and corruption, right? I know, in truth, for this community, we choose the light. We choose our freedom. You know, we choose our sovereignty. Yeah, it is a hard one. Well, and I dare say as well, this is part of why we're bearing in mind, again, I'll own my creation. I fully own my part in creating this paradigm shift energy. Well, why am I doing this? Well, get clear. Really, really effing get clear about what you want. And own your ability to manifest it. Own your ability to have it. And this is where I'm coming up against those energies. Yeah, but who are you, really, actually? And maybe this is as good as it gets, so you just make peace with this right here, right now. Because this is all you're really worth. You know, like those kind of energies. And especially if we are sharing environments with people, like being aware. You can pick up on other people's, pick up on other people's pain body. Feel guilty. You can't shine that bright. You can't have all that. How dare you? Right? And so we're being given the opportunity, you know, to collect what belongs to us as far as the energetic outpouring of love and clarity and emotional wisdom, the purity of holding space versus egoically entangling ourselves in order to control and dominate, because the truth is we all feel so goddamn unworthy. So those of us empowering our self-worth, this is it now, we better claim it, so that there's a whole bunch more people manifesting their beautiful worlds to show more and more people, yeah, that's right, you did it. That's karma, baby. That's energetic biofeedback. That you're a projector. And I know it's all messed up, and it would appear we all got lied to, but who chose this lie? We still have to own the fact that we chose to exist in this paradigm, that we chose to frequent this earth realm in the dark ages. And all this story of like we're the light beings, whatever. We're all individuated aspects of consciousness having an experience. And we can either be grandiose in our ego, but I am a being of light, I'm a higher dimensional being, or just be yourself. Why do we all have to talk about it? Why can't we just live it and be it and let others make their decision? If I'm trying to prove something, it's like, what is that? Maybe it's still part of my unworthiness, right? When I can just be myself, it's like me feeling a bit kind of tired and being like, no, like, I want to show up, I want to hang out with peeps, but I felt a bit crispy when I first came on, and back to back to back, there was a whole bunch of trolley energy talking about farts and assholes and stuff. So, you know, like that, but, and yet I'm at a point where I'm owning it. So I'm like, holla, I recognize why these energies are here right now. You know, I'm not a victim of them. After a while they got annoying, and then Divine Sight showed up to be like, wablam, except they were gone by then as well. They were gone, alright. Yeah, but also it's like your energy field coming into the chat room. They're like, ah! Or they also saw me just, you know, not reacting and then getting rid. So once they realize they're not gonna, you know, they're not gonna have their way with the channel here, and it's a part of that troll energy. The truth is, I realize now, really all they want is a reaction. You can imagine being in their space. Like, imagine being in the troll space. What you're going around to get the fucking rise out of people, right? So if I could just be like, what, fart? What are you guys even talking about? And they'd be like, you know, like that would get their frolics going. So if you don't react and you just delete them, they don't come back. They'll just move along. Although once you troll my channel, you're gone for good. And you know, you get hidden. You're never allowed back, kind of thing. Holla. The thing is, with tech, people can just keep, you know, putting on other channels. So, okay, I'm gonna choose some of the Osho cards to wrap up our sesh today. My lovers, feel free to join the Fearless Life Tribe. Ooh, new platform on the Facebook. If you join Life Share Crew or Fearless Life Tribe, you can join the online, the actual Facebook. You guys know I'm not on there too much, but you know, all the Live Share Crew, we're all on the Facebook page and sharing info there, so it's pretty sweet. Yes, it is Ronald. That's what it is. Ooh, interesting. Hi, Ellen. Hello. There's some heavy energies here. This is specific. the projections, the guilt, and the compromise. There is a flowering taking place. Well, this is being really aware of not acting out from these energies. Oh, I'm sure I was. How much did you miss? Quite a lot, hun. Quite a lot. As in, we're 50 minutes in, and I'm on to my third or fourth section of a reading. Although they do intertwine, there's a lot of collective imprinting going on about, getting really clear and choosing our personal power, choosing our inner world as the truth of our reality versus these external contracts, false leadership, false paradigm, right? And then here now, this energy is likely to help us for today and tomorrow for this full moon, because the full moon again, we're going to be triggering in this deep depth, and it's to do with our worthiness. It's to do with our guilty patterns of projection. Remember, this is to do possibly with unconscious projection, people unconsciously projecting their pain body onto you, which then makes you feel guilty, and then it possibly leads you into this comfort long time. This is the energy of recognition. See the guilt and choose your power. See the guilt and choose the divine projection, including your own. Remember to hold space for your own divine projection as well. Projection goes both ways, right? And as an empath community, recognize if you've been doing a lot of this work for a while, if you're having reactive responses that are out of character, recognize that you could be acting out people's unconscious projection or projection. This is where we start to noodle out these abusive relationships and abusive tactics and walk away from them. Don't compromise. This isn't in A Course in Miracles. It's not about compromise in sovereignty, in spiritual sovereignty. We're taught that on a lower base tone grid. We're taught like sometimes you just need to compromise yourself. Sometimes you just need to sacrifice your principles. Sometimes, relationships are hard work. Now, I'm not saying that we don't all have to do the work. It's not that we don't come up against challenges, but you guys know what I'm saying. There's a difference between compromising our essential nature. Heck, fuck, this is the world that we're in. We're in an entire global paradigm shift where humanity has a choice. Is that really the way that we're going to go? Are we going to go this way in our sovereignty? Sovereignty doesn't compromise itself. Our soul doesn't fucking compromise itself. How can it? Can you imagine the sun compromising its light? And like, ooh, it's quite hot. Maybe I should tone it down a little bit. No, that we'd fucking freeze. So it's no different in this energetic uprising that we do not compromise our light, that we do not compromise our soul's essence. Our expansion, thus our thriving survival is at stake. And it's not. I don't think it's that high risk in the truth of infinite creation. I believe we are the full void as well as the light. So the truth of it is that we are all the full container, regardless of what the movie looks like, right? Holla, hey Twin Spirited Forum, how are you? No, yeah, Galactic Crown Crew Commander, I feel that. I totally feel you and agree. Holla, 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 Ellen! Oh, interesting. Thanks, Ellen. So one thing, what you just said, like, we're saying, but this month is a big turning point. No compromise. Stand your ground. Stand in your light. Be the light. Be the change. And keep loving yourself. I know that's sometimes the weirdest, challenging bit, is to actually give ourselves all the love that we truly deserve and desire. And yet the weird, again, the kind of biofeedback polarity of this so-called love that you give yourself is that it brings up all of our wounds, all of our shames, all of our cellular density, all of our emotional memory banks that are vibrating on that frequency. So that which is not love, if you intend to be loved, that which is not love in your field and in your projected reality will keep manifesting until you burn it up, until you transform that which is not love through love's eyes. It's a very inner and personal and at the same time alchemical experience to come alive, to become conscious, and And then, so from that perspective, there's no compromise. And why should there be? I have no desire to compromise somebody's freedom. So anyone else who's also been doing the work to love themselves, they wouldn't want to either. But nothing in a full love of heart, or love full, or a heart full of nothing. Or no, wait. Nothing in a heart full of love would want to control other. Control is absolutely born out of fear. Ooh, yeah, yeah. That's a nice collective experience, Ellen. The the moon, the shamanic drumming. That feels very much like being here, or being, because the roomie here does shamanic drumming meditations. I think of Divine Sight being around the fire in her garden. Oh my, holla holla Bob. Oh man, hugs, 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 hugs. Reese, I see you now. I see you, baby. Shaking that ass. Bob, I know, mega heart love. Um, yeah, and I know we all can sensitively attune to those kind of feels, and fuck, they're brutal, you know? And thank you for honoring that. Thank you for honoring that and expressing, even just within this share of like the little loop we can go through of, and you're so worthy. And this, you guys know, that's the full vibration 10 here. It's like just making people feel like they're loved. And that is something, Bob, I really appreciate, because it is my absolutely, like, it's my joy. It's my service, is to just be able to, I feel like I might cry. I'm moving into premenstruation now, plus full moon vibration, but, and so many of us. Yeah, so glad you spoke up. So it is our service to the world, and it is our greatest joy to, I'm hearing something like, let people be seen, to let people be heard. Like, so often, my years and years in yoga industry, working on retreats and all of that, do you know, so often all that was needed to help people come alive was a genuine ear, like a genuine loving presence, to just listen to their story and not judge it, and not try to fix it, and not try to change it, and not try to tell them what they should have done fucking better, or how they can fix it all right now. Like, just listen and be an unconditional loving presence. Like, that so often was enough just to help people let go of their pain, you know? And just like us, just like you guys hold the space for me to share, so that I can hold the space for you, and we can hold the space for each other, is so beyond, you know, beauty that we were taught about. I automatically start with the top. Yeah, I think that's quite natural. Every time you restart your chart, starts with the chart. I hate that, but it is what it is. It does it. Well, and I must say, Rochelle, I do just, like, I miss stuff, right? Oh, another shamanic cleansing happening. How beautiful. Oh, you guys represent Ultra Love TV. Bob, thank you for being here. Guys, I just love this. I love that somebody just says, hey, I'm in the shit feels today. And there's, you know, it's just love. It's just everyone going, la, la. And like, maybe even in the very gentle sense, Bob's just having a little wave of like, hey, yeah, I'm all right. It's like me when I come on to the, yeah. What is life? And you guys are like, that's okay. And I'm like, really? It's okay, isn't it? Indeed. Integrate integrate the negative energies. That way we transform them, you feel me? Where's my, so sorry, I'm being noodly, I'm noodling away, and however, I totally feel your intention. Bearing in mind the idea, and this is me working with my own energy dances, right? My vibrashe is on the rise. Yeah, integrate to transform. Yeah, I get that you get it. So only because I'll reiterate for my own self in my beingness, I realize that me running away or rejecting is a resistance tactic, and it always loops back, motherfucker. So the parts of myself that I actually, even though, and here is like the subtlety of vibrage. It's like I could be on a certain level, sort of being like, oh, I love you. But on an energetic level, I'm placating it. I'm trying to like put love on top of something that I'm actually internally being like, get the fuck out, get the fuck out, get the fuck out. Instead of like, and this has been such a challenge over these last few weeks because I've really been doing this inwardly where I'm like, okay, I have to fucking get creative here inside myself to find a way to truly love and appreciate. Because I thought I was over this stuff, so my ego is getting a kick in big time. Yeah, as in, that's why I talk about the humility. Because, yeah, when stuff comes up, you got to get real about how much love can you actually provide. You thought it was that much, but then all this shit went down. Are you still gonna love it all? Like, oh, yeah, that's the humility of doing the work in earnest. I would say is that you can't bypass it. You can't escape. That's another interesting thing about the kind of spiritual bypassing is like you can't bypass your own self, right? We all know that. We get that. Hence why we're here. The intuitively understanding or intuitively sussing out manifestation. It's like fucked it. It's like just throwing our throw hands up in the air, throw hands up in the air. Just like throwing our hands up in the air and being like, you guys, we fucked it. You guys, stop working. Stop going to jobs. Stop paying taxes. We fucked it. We sold out. So let's just focus on getting our souls back. And then rearranging the world from a soulful, loving perspective. I jest about it, but it's absolutely serious from where I stand. And it all seems big and too complex, and yeah, but that's just the way the world is. And I'm like, except we created that, so we can change it anytime we like. Be the change, MoFlo lovers, holla holla. So there you go. That's a little juicy nugget for today. Woo woo. Mega thank you. When I checked in with you for your streams ago, it was because I felt that you weren't remembering, but it shifted states of conscious awareness predating. Oh, thanks, Bob. Isn't it amazing what we'd be seeing in one another? And I accept that, and I honor that. Like, thank you. And I'm aware because I've been through many revolutions and transformational cycles. It's just becoming more conscious. It's becoming more aware. It's becoming more like and thanks to you guys, the tribe, the familia, like you guys showing up is biofeedbacking and helping my own awakening accelerate. My own expansion, my own feeling of enlightenment. It's expanding because you guys are here, right? And then I should think that will just and on it goes. Because I'm intending this cycle to drop bass tones so that loads of our personal themes and challenges throughout our lives to date, those lowest energy bass tones, shame and guilt, for example, and a lot of fearful programs are all dropping off completely. So we weren't carrying them with us. We're not taking those with us because we can't vibrationally. So for us to be playing more in bliss and ecstasy states and love, well, we need one another. And just to continue to do the work and to keep believing. I think that's about right. I wouldn't put any label one way or the other, personally. as in like I just let someone else deal with that, and yet I'm fully aware of it. It's also like totally being where you are, and if it's not in alignment to work, or if it's not in alignment to um, pay taxes, now is the time. Mega love, twin spirited. Yeah, Rochelle. It's a while, isn't it? It can take some time uh, to integrate that and step into that as far as monetary exchange, right? Well, and it's that whole system, right? Me neither. And an energy I get, but just part of this line in the sand is I'm like, I don't know what there is to go back to. So, because in personal, and I would say for a lot of us here, it's the fact that this energy of paradigm shift timeline has been worked toward. We've been working energetically toward this global paradigm shift. So now that it's here, of course, there is no normal. There's no so-called world um, in the old way, in the old structure. And increasingly there will be less. It's, as in, all that's going to happen is that the memory of war and persecution and betrayal and one another, like that energy of us betraying each other for power, betraying each other to have, for greed, that energy is what's transforming and changing. And the experience isn't, it's like we're not gonna do what was done. It just disappears because they have no place in our awareness anymore. Again, we project our own consciousness into the field, right? So I get to choose who's in my field. And the more pure my projected heart space becomes, the less it tolerates anything other than that purity, because it's conscious of what it's projecting. And so that level of clarity and purity, it absolutely is that's what's tolerated, and then the other is left to work itself out, really. Anywho, look at exactly bang on. Every time I'm like, I'm gonna shut down now, you guys. It's always at least 20 minutes of Blabfest. But my lovers, I just always want to come on, and again, you guys, if you hit the notifications and are proper subscribers and stuff like that, I think, yeah, you will get notified. And subscribe to Alta Love, and if you want to buy stuff, it's super, super helpful. Help everybody. Well, just be the change, basically, and it's really appreciated. It's called A Long Goodbye. It so is, isn't it? I love it. I love you guys. Thank you so much. That's probably love you. Why? Because I blabberoo for festivals. I don't even know what I'm saying. Let me entertain you. Let me make you smile. There you go. Holla. I feel like a farm girl. But I do like this job. See, I feel sexlicious, but I'm ashamed. But I'm not actually, but I sort of am. Hence why I work it. Work it. Is it worth it? I'm gonna bang down, flip it, and reverse it. Your barber shirt. One day in the summertime, I'll maybe even like just have like, see, this is fucking old shit, but it's coming up. I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying to run your chart. Are you? Who was it? Somebody I shared. Maybe Chance as I shared my chart with you. You're like, holla. No side boob on this. But there is the navel, which girls, most women and men for that matter, understand the like, showing the navel, showing that, I don't know, it's very like exposing, and it's like I shouldn't have to do that if I don't feel comfortable, but at the same time, when you do feel really sexlicious and comfortable, it's a beautiful thing. I just am working up the courage, getting my courage back on that level, because I lost it. Because I went swimming in the darkness for a few months there. After getting back from feeling fucking amazing in Portugal, I just went back into the darkness of my own suffering and loaded my body up with a bunch of shame. Holla. Just to like smack my ego across the face a few times. And to make me a little bit more humble and real and have to love myself more. Like, just fucking give me your money. You feel me? Anyway, blah blah. Yeah, no, but hey Bob, you know what? I'm gonna give that back to you. Thank you all so much for catching me before I fell. You caught yourself. We just responded to you, to your request. But you made the request and you were responsible enough to receive. Oh my gosh, breakthrough in our community. Holla, look at that. Look at us receiving. Look at us receiving love. Look at us receiving our own sexalicious hot love. Oh my god, I have to go. I have to go, you guys. I'm getting embarrassed. I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful day. It's not my intention to offend people, but if I do, maybe jog along. And otherwise, subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. And also, give me your money. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's okay for a man to be sexual, for sure. I'll noodle away with those subject things. It's still a little bit uncomfortable for me, but I'll get better. Have a good night, everybody. I love you loads, and I'll see you tomorrow. I was just singing like Ultra Love TV, Ultra Love, and fini. Thank you guys. I'll see you later. Peace out.